Welcome to Real Estate on the Rocks, where you get top shelf real estate conversations served straight up, never watered down. Here's your host, Dave Snowberger.
Welcome back to Real Estate on the Rocks. Dave Snowberger here. In the co-pilot chair today, we have Alicia Hooper.
Whoop, whoop.
Where's Marshall Tucker?
Where is Marshall?
He died.
What?
What?
No, he didn't really
That's
die.
not even funny, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Jeez.
You need to edit
Way
that
to
out.
kill that one.
Yeah, way to bring down the mood there.
Womp, womp, womp.
He's alive. He's been resurrected.
All right, we got the man behind the glass, James Mendez, over there dropping horrible jokes.
Yeah, he needs to stay behind the glass and
Horrible
not have a mic.
jokes. He needs to stick to his daytime job over here. We got a treat today.
Yeah, we do.
Super treat.
We've got Benjamin.
He's chiming in on himself. I love it.
Yeah, a super treat.
Hey, somebody has to
gotta
be
be
your
his
own
own
hype
hype
man,
man.
right?
Yeah, there you go.
We've got Benjamin Love from the Love Team.
What's up, world? I'm my own hype man. I am sweet, and yeah, let's get to this.
All right, we're gonna get to it. Apparently, he's taking control today, so I'm gonna go ahead and just kick on back here, and it's the B-Lo show today.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's hit it.
Be love, Austin, Texas. Anyways, I guess what we were talking about earlier before everything hit record, mindset, and you were sharing, Alicia, this morning, or just right now, about mindset. What was that you had to talk with?
So I had a conversation with our team leader, and he was saying that whether you're a new agent into the business or you're seasoned, mindset is a constant battle, and it's something that you have to address on a regular basis. And I was curious because you've been in for...
About 15 years now, yeah.
And is that something that you're still having to address on a regular basis?
I think, yeah, most definitely. It's something that if you're not renewing your mind every single day, every new day brings a new battle, and you have to continuously stay refreshed. Mm-hmm. It's easy to allow negative things in the real estate business to continue to just hold in, and sometimes we have a hard time releasing that. Mm-hmm. And so again, if you're not coming in and waking up with a gratitude, I know some of the things that we've always learned is waking up and having a gratitude journal, because what we discovered is when you're grateful for even the smaller things, then it's hard to be ungrateful when those other things come around your way.
Absolutely. And they say that when you express your gratitude, it opens up to allow more to come in, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig into that real quick. If I'm a new agent,
Yep.
and I'm a first year coming in, and that's who we're concentrating on is our listeners right here. Is, you know, we've all had our struggles coming into the business over time, and we realize that first 2 years is really hard in the business. You know, how do you convince a new agent that it's all about gratitude, that they're sitting there with no money, eating ramen noodles, not having a lot of luck? There's nobody in their office, which we call a market center, in their office that's really giving them time of day. They're doing open houses. They're doing a lot of the things that they have to do to try to bring a deal in to get a client to whatever else. And so I could see that they wouldn't be thankful for much. So I just want to be sure that we're touching on what our listeners are thinking.
Sure.
So how do you get that buy-in from some of the new agents that we mentor and coach?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, definitely for me. I think one of the things that most agents come in with is the home and garden TV expectations. Mm-hmm. You know, reality TV is not even close to being reality. When you look at that, it's like, oh, hey, you go to a Starbucks, you tell them, here's a contract. I've just shown you 3 houses. Which house do you want to pick? And that's it. And so they come in here with, oh, well, doing real estate is easy. Well, this is actually, it's not hard physical, but mentally it takes its toll. And so if you're coming in and you haven't actually talked to anybody about what the expectations are. Hey, what do I need to do? How much do I need to have saved? Mm-hmm. Because that's a key part where if you don't have the finances to hold you through 3 to 6 months, that stress is going to actually build up. And next thing you know, it can become overwhelming. And this is why 80% of the people are out of the business in the first year.
Right. Well, I think that's one reason why the failure rate in our business is so high, above that 80% right there, is because that most people come in, they don't really realize that. So they might have to take on a second job, or, they're leveraging that they're maybe their spouse or something can help them out for the first few months, and then the fees start racking up. Once you get into this business as a new agent, everybody seems to have their hand out.
For sure.
You've got to pay the board, you've got to pay for the MLS.
Yep.
Wait a minute, I thought I just paid the board. Well, that's completely different from having access to the MLS. You need, if you're going to try to be on the listing sign, you need to be either with a brokerage that provides signs and lock boxes and marketing material, or you've got to come out of pocket for that as well. That's another expense.
Right.
Typically, the brokerage that provides those things has an extra fee to it also. Some are upfront, some are when you get them at a closing. So, there's a lot of things that I like to revert back to when we talk about mindset. I think all of us in this room are maybe not James being one of the newest here, but he's definitely being coached on his mindset right now, is that we don't think about those mindset issues starting out as the new agent. So you hit a lot of good points right there. So I want to kind of continue down that path of the buy-in and the expectation, because you're right. HGTV, what you said a minute ago when you called it out of like going to Starbucks and pulling out 3 properties, that's actually more likely to happen in our career versus riding around in a Bugatti. Like one of the latest things I saw, while they went out and looked at, $1 million property, then negotiate multi-million dollar contracts while they eat caviar down by the beach and all this other stuff. That doesn't happen. However, it just doesn't happen. It doesn't even happen with those guys. That stuff's all staged, So it's like the expectations. I think that the real estate business doesn't do a great job when we're bringing new agents in on building the mindset and setting the expectations of what you're up against for the next 2 years.
Absolutely.
And so like Marshall Tucker always says, it's like, do you want unlimited income, or do you want a I always forget
flexible work schedule.
Flexible work schedule. I always forget it. I always like to quote him, then forget it. is do you want the flexible income or the flexible schedule, the unlimited income? You can't have both in the first 2 years.
That's
and
right.
at first, I think that we had to convince you of that.
Yeah.
You
definitely have to make those sacrifices if you want to move forward. You get in and you have those expectations that this is going to be easy, this is going to be fast, this is going to be awesome, and then 6 months down the road, you're like, I've only had one deal. What's going on?
Yeah, and I'll chime in right there real quick again, is that I've seen agents come in, and I entered the business with like 10 agents, and one girl right off the bat, she hit a home run, right? She worked an open house. Those people bought that house. That was $500,000. They bought that house, and then they sold theirs, which was $400,000 right down the street. This one was situated, overlooked a nice stock tank pond, had a good sunset off the back, and these people moved quick. It was close to, all said and done, $800,000, $900,000 worth of sales, and she got paid off that. So whatever her split was, that girl disappeared. She was living high on the hog for quite some time just off that, right? Yeah. So, she's living maybe with her boyfriend or her spouse. I can't really remember. But she was rich. Like, she got this big lump sum of money, right? And I would say that her split was certainly the same as mine at the time. So I think I had calculated what she made. That's a nice chunk of change, but not for a year.
Right.
It was less than what somebody makes in a year. And as soon as she spent it all, then she was back at the office.
Boom. That's a great point that you make there, Dave, is because a lot of times people who are coming into this industry haven't really seen a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 check.
Right.
And so they a lot of times are actually learning how to handle that kind of money. And what happens is I got $8,000. Cool. Let me go take a cruise. Let me go ahead and get
That's what I did.
all these things. And then next thing you know, you come back and you're like, oh man, where'd all my money go?
Yeah.
And they don't. The biggest mistake that a lot of first-time agents make is they don't take away for them taxes. And now all of a sudden that leads to stress the following year
Yep.
Yeah,
if you're
well,
still in the industry.
We're not going to jump on
Yeah.
taxes. Apparently, I was out one of these last episodes and it got on a tax talk over here. And these guys drill deep on that. So I think that our listeners have had enough of taxes for a
But-
while.
Yeah.
So, but no, I get
get a
what you're saying though.
professional in.
It's like the expectation is that boom, I've made it. I've got this, and that person certainly nailed two in a row, two large ones, and even say this split was 70-30. You know what is that split? So I'm sure we could figure out the math real quick on it. However, that was the scariest thing, and now I look back at it. You know, it's like I've done that too. When I nailed my first 3 sales in a row in 1 month, I did the same thing. Was I got paid, right?
Yeah.
And so after that, I was just kind of woo,
Yeah.
paid, and that's what introduced the ebbs and flows of my career. That's where I first started to realize that. You know, I worked really hard on getting those leads, and then I closed everything out. And then after I got out of those humps of closing everything, I didn't do anything to keep the lead generation going. I just thought it was naturally going to come to me.
Right.
And it wasn't until a broker friend of mine, one of my friend's dads, had told me I was bragging on Facebook, being, you know, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. And he's like, hey, that's great, son. I'm really proud of you that you did that. He goes, now just keep it going for 20 more years, and you'll have a good career in real estate.
There you go.
You know, I mean, that was basically a punch in the stomach right to me, and I was like,
Like, what?
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah.
a step back.
Well, thinking of mindset, I mean, when we approach this, like I said earlier, as, you know, fun and easy. So we have the mindset that this is freedom. Because we're out of corporate America, we're running our own business, we're an entrepreneur, all that fun jazz. And the mindset should be of business.
Is jazz really fun?
Yeah.
Only if it's classical.
I'm glad that's what you picked up on that awesome little tidbit.
The entire thing.
Oh, I forgot it was fun
But,
jazz.
I mean, seriously, how many new agents do you know that treat this as a business?
Probably
Very few.
Very
Zero.
few, right? So that's where the mindset starts, is treating this as
you know me. I treat it as a business for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't?
What?
I mean, I would say, how many people do you know that treat this as a business?
Right.
I do.
New agents.
No. I'm
Oh,
talking
new
about
agents. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you just meant
I
like how
know
many
Snow
people do you,
does.
you
Come
said
on.
how many people do you know? You didn't say how many
You're
new
like,
agents
well, I
do
do.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, can we
I would say
please get
I
some
was gonna
clarity on that?
Yeah, like everybody in this room treats their business like a business. So, sorry, I just missed what you said right
That's
there.
okay. No, new agents getting into the industry, how many do you think approach this as a business as opposed to a new adventure that's freedom and
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
Well, the reality of it is this: is how many people come into this industry based off of impulse. I want to become a realtor. Let me go to school, and don't talk to nobody in the industry.
that's a great point.
You want to talk about like mindset. If you John Maxwell, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, it talks about that, about when knowing who you are and being able to decipher your skill set, your talents, and then once you decipher that, then go figure out who do you need to hang around, talk with, be mentored by, so that you can actually understand what you need.
but how
to
do new agents know that?
That's the thing.
Right. And so like we have this conversation all the time. It's like we try to recruit onto our team, and we don't try. We get in front of agents that might be starting out, and we tell them the benefits maybe of joining the team or joining the right brokerage, right? And all they hear about are commission splits. You know, I can go with this company because it's a 90-10 split, and they give me leads. It's like, okay, they forgot to tell you once they give you leads, that's a different lead, and that one's 50-50 or 40-60 or whichever the split is at that time. And then the 90-10 stuff is usually after you sell a certain amount to get there or whichever else. It's not typically, I would say that if agents could get the commission splits out of their head, it would help their career down the road.
For sure.
You know, I went with a brokerage. It wasn't about the commission split for me starting off, and I didn't know any better. I would have signed really any deal. I just wanted to be with somebody that had training. Mm-hmm. I knew that I was going to be screwed if I went into a brokerage or I went and started selling real estate. And I tried. I went with one of my friend's dads, the same guy I mentioned, and I was like, hey, John, I want to start working for you. What do you think? And he goes, I think that's a horrible idea because I have no time to train you, kid. And he's like, you know what? Go get 2 years of training, and we'll talk about when I retire, you taking over my business. You know, and now it's just like my business is 5 times, 10 times bigger than what he's created over his lifetime, but he's fine where he is. I just started realizing that I wanted a little bit more, and I didn't want a little small brokerage in a pocket of Austin, Texas. I wanted,
A well-known name.
right, a little bit bigger.
Yep.
So based on that commission, if there's anything, especially that your first year and new agents need to understand, like it's exactly what Dave was talking about. Don't focus on the commission. Focus on the net. What are you going to net? Because 90% of $100,000 is not as good as 70% of 700,000 or a million, right? Because what is the environment? How are they going to grow you? How are they going to give you the skill set? Why do you want to just be continually handed leads when you can actually learn a skill set? Because what can go break through every shift? Mm-hmm. Having whatever education you have can be shift proof. But if you're getting leads, those leads could dry up super quick.
Oh, yeah.
So don't focus on the commission. Focus on the net and what they're providing for you outside of that.
100%. And other things I would focus on too. What I would tell agents, new agents, what I do tell agents, let's go back with that. When I take them into the coaching program and we talk about this stuff, it's focus on the value that brokerage is giving to you. And what does that value look like? What's their culture look like? Mm-hmm. What's their, the splits is the last thing out of your criteria of 5 things that you need to ask. I would put up there with, the culture, the training, just
the support, the everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
I think the commission should almost be irrelevant at that time. The first 2 years is to learn.
That's right.
And after you start learning, then you get to earn. Mm-hmm. So I think that's the best way to roll through that.
Well, I think sorry.
I was going to say, and I know in my business, it shifted when I lost that commission breath and really focused on helping families. And I was focused on the people instead of the money. And I saw a shift in my business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a relationship business. Mm-hmm. But I think our industry also, that 1% to 2% that in their first year, hey, they did 24 deals and fantastic and everything. And now all of a sudden these people have these expectations of, oh, I got to do 24 deals. Hey, if you did 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 deals your first year, you did fantastic.
That's right.
And I think that's vital for people to understand. That 1% to 2%, yes, what is their situation? That's a lot of times what we don't know. Mm-hmm. And what are they giving up in order to be able to reach those numbers?
That's right.
So again, it's always about continuously being curious, asking questions, figuring out what's going to best serve you, because we're not all made from the same mold.
That's right.
Not at all.
Exactly. I love it.
Continue.
I was going to quote a bold law: don't compare your insides to other people's outsides.
Hooah.
Hooah.
Nice. James, what do you think? I mean, you're the newest guy over here. We've given you a mic to participate again.
Oh,
Don't
geez.
make us regret it.
Seriously.
Your decision. You're on my team. Your decision to join a team versus go solo.
Split said
What'd you base it on?
The team, the culture. That's why I'm here. I've told you guys a story before. Why I came here in the first place was culture. Splits was the last thing, which is interesting because even in Facebook groups now, there's some guy was talking about, I don't know if I'm going to go solo or brokerage. And so he's weighing it. And 99% of the statements were based on splits, on how much percentage he'd have to pay for somebody else, which I thought was pretty entertaining. But no, I wanted to be around good people and enjoy coming to work, learn from people. Like Ben was one of the first ones I met, and he was talking trash from day one, and just cracking jokes and just fun, friendly, and yeah, you need anything, I got you.
Yeah.
And that's when I found out he's been here for a while. He helps mentor people, and then a lot of the other leadership. So if that's a culture you're going to breed for an environment, and then it's also attracting other big teams and quality agents, and you're doing something right here. So that's the environment that I wanted to be in, and I've always been in the military has been high level and high functioning teams. Right. So I needed that kind of environment to carry on. So splits, as long as I'm splits are going to be whatever they're going to be. That's been the last thing on my mind. As long as I can survive, that's all I need to get, in the window or in the door, and then just take off and build from there.
Yeah. When you're new, 80% of nothing is nothing.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so if you're focused on the splits, and so we started this off.
But I'm getting 80% though. Dave.
Right. Yeah. When I do get a deal,
Yeah.
but look how many deals you're missing before you get there. I mean,
Can't even
if you join
convert it like a 20% rate. So
Well,
what
and
on
if they
earth
need
makes you
help,
think the
let me
100%
find my
goal?
avatar.
Well, yeah,
It's not going to help.
No. Let's not go that way.
Okay, sorry.
We're not gonna pick on brokerages here. Or they'll just pick back.
This is true.
So we just kind of
Delete that new guy.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I thought you were talking about your customer avatar.
No.
That is that. As you grow, your client, ideal client, that avatar, that
Yep.
ideal client of who you want to serve is definitely good to understand.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're just gonna be like,
Yeah, we've definitely built those
You have
out
to know how to
before.
communicate to him.
you're like,
and
wait,
all
I
that
can
fun
serve
jazz.
everybody?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, you cannot.
Right.
No, you can.
Yeah, you definitely want to
only
narrow
go.
it down and focus. And so a lot of this comes, I was going to say, we it seems like we jumped off the topic a little bit. However, all this goes and feeds into mindset because if you pick the right brokerage, if you've got somebody that's got a strong culture, a great work ethic, that provides that atmosphere for you and helps with the training and gives you more confidence, that right there, confidence is a mindset. We had talked about this in a previous show that, when I walk into somewhere or I do an open house for say, and people are like, oh, okay, that's okay. We don't have a realtor yet, but we haven't chose anybody. I'm like, my mindset is kind of like, I'm the best. I wouldn't say that out loud, but that's my mindset is like, you wouldn't want to work with anybody else.
Right.
Trust me. Like I'm on top of my follow-up. I know the market better than anybody. I study the market every morning I wake up. I know what new builds are out there. I look at the hot sheets every morning. I return emails. I have a staff of people that help me maintain everything that I do. And so nobody ever slips through the cracks. You want to work with me.
But Dave, people love me and they want to work with me. I don't want to sound like a salesman.
Right.
Like, how are you providing value? I think the biggest thing that I had to learn was, again, when it comes to mindset, is my people love me, but the hardest lesson was when I seen them posting on Instagram, Facebook, hey, just bought a house. And my jaw drops and I'm like, hello? I mean, we've been friends for over 8, 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
How come you didn't use me? And it's because we don't enough times provide our value.
That's right.
Like where you say, hey, I'm the best. And my mindset is I just want to serve you.
Right. But, on that, like I've had that twice. I've sold somebody's home, and I'm pretty sure a realtor here in the same office as us sold them a new home. They were friends from high school. They didn't use me or use that person to sell their house because they didn't want them in some personal business. I was a little bit more distant. However, they still knew me, but I wasn't going to judge them over some of their finances and things like that, or some of the decisions maybe they made, maybe poor decisions, when that other agent would have. And so a lot of times people that are really close to you, they don't want to use you because they don't want that negative aspect. They don't want you to let you into the negativity in their life. Maybe there's a divorce going on, maybe there's a foreclosure going on, maybe there's just something they don't want you to know. That's I see that stuff a lot. And I stopped worrying about people, my friends, my sphere not using me, just I chalk it up to I can't do business with everybody, and if they wanted to use me, they would. And they know they like me, but maybe they didn't trust me. Maybe I never worked on building that trust. I just assumed they were going to use me because I knew them.
Right.
Well, they know a lot of realtors. This town has 16,000 realtors running around. You could throw a rock and hit somebody with it's a
Seriously,
realtor around here.
yeah.
It's part-time, quarter-time, does one deal a year, whatever else. They exist in every form and fashion in this town. It's a great town to sell real estate.
Yeah.
So everybody's trying to do it. Well, with that, that's on you sometimes. That's on me sometimes. If we don't get that deal and we didn't explore it, maybe it was we just didn't put out there that we wanted their business. Maybe they did leave us subtle hits and we didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just, again, the key to that is they're scared because they feel like if I share what my values are, I'm going to come across as salesman-y. And that's that mindset. When you understand that, hey, we are not salesmen, and that, again...
That's ego.
That's exactly what it is. Humility will tell you that I just want to serve you in the best possible way, and these are the things that I'm bringing that are separate from anybody else.
Right.
If
Come
you're
from a place of contribution.
If you're worried, of course. If you're worried about sounding salesman-y, one, you have to really identify. you are a salesman. It says so on your license. It says you're a licensed salesperson. And so a lot of people run away from that and they try not to be salesy. There's a way to be a salesperson, and all you are as a salesperson is what you're trying to do is come from contribution, build that relationship, and serve a need. We've talked about this plenty of times, and then I'll keep saying it because my message is never going to change, is that we don't sell anybody anything. We solve problems. We are professional problem solvers. What are the problems that we solve as realtors, right? So they can't get into homes typically. They can't write their own contracts. They can't do much after the search, right? So they've searched the homes. They've narrowed it down. Now it's time to employ a realtor. That's where we come in to serve their problems. The industry, some other big conglomerates out there, some that are bought and sold by the big, the Zillows and the Open Doors and all that, the Redfins and all that stuff, they serve a purpose right now. They're trying to infiltrate more into our business and replace us as everything. But you can't replace that human element of an agent. And so we're there to solve problems. That's what we do. So as long as we figure out how to get someone to know us, like us, and trust us, then they trust us to solve their problems. That's what we do as realtors. And as soon as more people figure that out, I think the whole salesman thing can finally take a break.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever will.
No.
You'll always have that. You'll always have I don't want to be a salesman. I've argued with people, with agents for 20 years. I'm not a salesman, I'm a realtor. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm a professional salesperson that buys and sells real estate. Mm-hmm. And I proactively go out and find people to buy it. Mm-hmm. You wait for business to come to you. Mm-hmm. And because you don't want to sound salesy. Well, guess what? There's nothing salesy in what I do. Right. Period.
Yep.
Period. So that's my mindset on it, and I'm sticking to it. It seems to be working, so I'm going to stick with it, and I'm going to keep solving problems at a high level every day. Every day I walk in here, I've got a problem. My sellers have a problem. Right now I'm negotiating multiple offers. That's a problem. They don't know how to handle it. What do I do? So I start presenting them with all the facts. We might have appraisal problems. We might have this. We might this. And I'm the fiduciary of the transaction. So it's my job to walk them through this. It's not salesy.
No.
That's my job. I'm the fiduciary. So I'm going to sell it. And it's just like, well, are you trying to sway me that way because it would be more commission for you? Do you know what $5,000 more would do for me in commission wise? Nothing. I mean, what's 3% of $5,000? That doesn't do much. So that can't be the argument there. It's like I'm doing what's best for you.
Right.
And I mean, I'm literally having this conversation as we sit here and do this. That's who I'm texting right now. Is that seller? And I want the best for her. She's in a great position. Yeah. She's checked all the boxes that she's at a loss. And I've come up with 10 pages of why you're winning. Nice. And so that's what I'm doing right there is I'm fulfilling that role of the fiduciary, and never once do I have to sell anything.
No, because like Ben said, you're coming from a place of service, and you're in this industry, when you truly want to help someone or come from a place of contribution, then
I've never had some client wake up and say, God dang it, look at this 4-bedroom, 3-bath house that this guy forced me into buying.
Buyer's remorse.
Yeah, I've got buyer's remorse after a 45-day closing and negotiating all these repairs for roofs and all this other stuff and sprinkler systems and all that. And man, he got me good. I got sold.
Can't believe he got me $10,000 off this house.
God, this guy.
God, this guy negotiated his butt off and got me this great deal. I hate him. I hate realtors. What a shady occupation. All right, well, let's keep it rolling here. Ben, let's know some more about you, man. So you're in Austin, Texas. You said 15 years. I know you're another, like this guy, James over here, this new guy that keeps checking his phone, looks a little distracted. You're from also California.
Oakland, California to be exact.
Oakland.
Born and raised. And beautiful city, beautiful state. But there comes a time when you just have to make a change, and changing your environment. And when you change your environment, I came to a place where I went from a negative atmosphere to one where there was positivity, and when you could change your mindset in that aspect and still take some of the things that you've learned from growing up. Like the Bay Area was a melting pot for me. So I hung around the Afghans, I hung around Puerto Ricans, I hung around Filipinos, I hung around Chinese, Mandarin, I hung around the blacks, I hung around the Venezuelans, the Chileans, and all that. And it was cool because I developed and learned how all these different cultures had treated
cool,
me. Yeah. And so that's one of the things that when I got out of this negative environment in California, not the meeting of the families and stuff, but just the atmosphere of Oakland, and moved to a state where I had all of a sudden a brand new way to start over and build my identity. I didn't lose any of my gifts. I didn't lose any of my talents. I didn't lose any of my education on life. And I brought those over here with me. And I remember 2002 moving to Texas and was like, man, what am I going to do? Here I am. I got this college degree in computer science. And I moved to a place, Harlingen, Texas, where there is zero technology. Mm-hmm. And I remember trying to get a job, and the only place that would hire me was as an AC tech, and they wanted to pay me $7.25, and I was like, yeah, that's not going to work. Yeah. I haven't worked for that low of an amount in over 10 years. And so we were there. I was married 6 months, and I finally said, you know what? I'm going back to California. I'm not taking this no more. This is not where I want to be. And I tried to put my foot down, and my wife was like, okay, well, bye. I'm not going with you. And I'm like, I kind of look like James over there when you asked him to talk on the microphone, deers in the headlight. Like,
just seasoned professional.
Whatever.
But she's like, I'm not going. And I'm like, man, okay, well, fine then. If we're going to live out here, we're going to own a house because I'm not renting out here. And I remember walking into this home builder, and we sat and talked with this home builder for about 3.5 hours. And at the end of the 3.5 hours, he's like, dude, you got a great personality. Have you ever thought of selling houses? And I was like, no, but I'm down to.
Yeah. Does it pay more than $7.25 an hour? Well, not really.
And he tells me, well, I'm the sales manager for this county. Look, fill this application out and come back and drop it off tomorrow, and get ready to start tomorrow.
Sweet.
And that's how I got in the industry.
Nice.
And I mean, Harlingen, average price point was about 66,000. Mm-hmm. Today it's probably maybe 87,000. Yeah, right. So if you're looking to invest or just want to own some land, that's a great place.
If you're looking to invest, stay out of Harlingen.
But you know, I worked for 5 years in a builder, and then I was just like, hey, 2007 started rolling, and I started to see this crash going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I will say though, I did fairly well, and this is one thing that I'm very proud of. In 15 years in real estate, I've only had one family's home foreclosed on, and this was selling through 2002 when they were just giving houses away. Yeah. And I would turn people away and say, you know what, you're not ready for this. I mean, this was 2 income families making $1,800 a month and had like $500 going to rent-a-rims. That's kind of the environment that it was in. And I would turn people away, and they would go just right around and tell the other sales counselor, hey, I'm wanting to buy a house. And they would make money, and that's fine. But my most important thing to me was my character and my integrity. You know what? I didn't care about how much money I could make. I just wanted to make sure that they were safe and secure.
That's awesome.
Thanks. And 2007, you know, I started to see the change, and I was like, you know what? I got to get out of home building, and let me open up my horizons and get into real estate. Got into real estate, went into a small brokerage for 3 months, learned that, hey, no, this wasn't the place for me. And it just so happened that somebody from Keller Williams was like, we opened up a business center in Harlingen, and they were like, hey, come talk. And from there, I was just like, okay, cool. And for 3 years, we took it from a business center to an actual market center and made some great relationships, you know. And then 2010, you know, life happens and I'm getting divorced and I come up to Austin and there's Mo Anderson. She's teaching Quantum Leap for the final time. And I'm like, okay, great. And so she goes through this thing where, you know, hey, take yourself, picture yourself at your funeral. Now come back and what did you want to accomplish? And I remember the thing that she said to do. She said, put away all your electronics one weekend, go out into nature and just really just what do you want to do with your life? And so I went back to Harlingen and I did it. I took the weekend off, I put my phone away, and the next weekend I was up in Austin, Texas. And I've been here for about
give me chills, Benny Boo.
Going on 9 years now.
Nice.
And
are they wondering where you're at in Harlingen? They're still looking for you?
you know what? I have
just dipped out.
He's on the missing poster.
I probably am somewhere down there. If truth be told,
Last seen selling $60,000 homes. Now look at them.
Excited too.
you know, yeah, and that's the thing. I mean,
That's pretty awesome. I had 5 questions to ask, and you covered them all right there. Like, I don't even have anything more to ask.
Hey.
Nice job. Nice job.
well, James gave me the questions beforehand. I was like, yeah, it's like cool. Let me go
Let me
here.
just knock this out. Let me just go. You guys get to save your breath on this one.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, Ben was one of the first agents that I met also when I came into this market center. And when he shared his story in one of my Ignite classes, it was very moving and he inspired me.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just noticed that we're running out of time right here. And if you like, Ben, you can come back. We do this every day, so you can join us tomorrow in the studio if you'd like. We're going to go ahead and sign off now. I want to go ahead and thank our sponsor, Mike Harrell over at Guild Mortgage. I also want to thank our second sponsor, me. Just kidding.
You're so bad.
So stupid.
Dumb.
Just dumb. All right, so thanks for listening to Real Estate on the Rocks. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review if we've provided value for you and made you laugh. We also want to thank Ben.
How do they get in touch with you, Ben?
Oh, man. Hey, easy. Call me. Cell phone number is 512-487-9325. Or you can always reach me by email at ben@thebenlovegroup.com. Love to reach out to you guys, talk to you, especially if you're looking for a career in an industry that you can become a millionaire.
Boom.
Woo, look at boom. Karen Cheese, I'm going to call you about that. All right, we're signing off. Thanks again.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.